Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, is there anyone from the public that would like to address the board? I have no letters to read from, submitted from the public, so for a second time, is there anyone that would like to address the board from the public? Third and final time, anyone like to address the board? Seeing none, public portion is closed. I'm going to go right to administration status of schools, and then we have an update. Couple updates.
Thank you, Kevin. I'm actually pretty pleased tonight. It was more of the list of things that I need to make you aware of rather than a lot of the COVID updates. But today was our first day back where we extended the school day. Everything seemed to go well. As I said to you at the last meeting, one of the reasons that I'm really excited, and the teachers and the administrators and everyone is because it'll allow us to do a lot more of the normal things that we're working towards, that we usually do at the end of the school year. So we're very pleased that we're able to do that. And even though there's only about 6 or 7 weeks, we're happy that hopefully we're going to get some things done. Speaking of that, I know I talked to a couple of board members. I know I mentioned Jim had asked me about high school graduation and other graduation ceremonies. Originally, we had talked about 3 over the course of one day at West Haven High School. It's still going to be June 15th, which is not the last day of school, but we are planning on one ceremony at 4 o'clock. Given the way that the restrictions have been lifted since the last time, we think that we can position the stage in a manner where we'll use both sides of the bleachers. Dana even has an idea to allow the top 30 or so students, families to sit on the field if they choose to do so. We're going to have to limit to 4 tickets because we don't want capacity. And we're going to do it at 4 o'clock because, remember, there's no balloon light up all night. And one of the biggest challenges is kind of getting people out of the stadium. So we're going to suggest that they can spread out, get pictures taken, go over down to the shoreline, and then spend the time with their families. So, we're really excited that we're able to bring back the high school graduation and do one so that the entire class gets to be together. Yeah, no, as soon as we heard the restrictions, Dana and I got together and we made that decision. At our next meeting, I'm going to have Matt and Marissa Akampora do an overall presentation regarding our ESSER 2 funding and maybe ESSER 3. We're going to get the details on that today. We submitted our application a week ago on Friday. It was approved sometime last week. So we want to give you the details. We also want to talk about some of the summer programs, which we're really excited about. A lot of recreation programs, but also some incentives, especially for our high school students, to touch base with their guidance counselors, attend sports camps, and if they're behind, get back on track. We also put out today a letter from me. It's up on our website, so you can easily access it. As you probably know by now, the state is not requiring local districts to offer distance learning. However, so that went up. In fact, they are encouraging in-person learning. However, what I wanted to say to the board, what I think we should do, our administration and present it to you, look at possibly developing a policy as to when distance learning would be appropriate under special circumstances for individual students, snow days, whatever. I think it's going to be important because right now we kind of know how everything worked out this year and we know who needed it, who didn't need it. But again, I think we should formalize at some point a policy regarding when to use distance learning, emergency situations, a student who just got out of the hospital and can't come to school for a couple of weeks. So I think we should formalize that.
I was going to suggest to think
about incorporating a homebound instruction in that.
Yeah,
It might be able to be a way to expand on hours that those kids usually get instead of having the one person have to go to house to house.
I agree with you, and I also think, one of the problems with homebound, we've experienced, and I've mentioned it to the board, is kids get really comfortable with homebound. I think this would be a way, if they were bound to a stricter schedule, where they were more accountable, I think there's a better likelihood of getting those kids back into school. So it's, probably something we'll work on during the summer, and then we'll get it to you, hopefully before or by the beginning of the next school year. One thing is, I really want to take this opportunity to thank the board, to thank all the Kristen Scanlon, and all of the unions regarding the Zupardi's Pizza Truck idea and the way that we honor our staff. We normally give them a little gift every year, but this was really something nice. It was a special year. Certainly a lot better than a pen or some kind of trinket that we normally pass out. We've gotten good feedback, and I really hope that, if you guys haven't been able to go to one, we have 3 left. We have Bailey, Washington, and Haley in that order over the next 3 days. I think we sent you the schedule, but again, you were just as much a part of this as any of the unions, and we know how everybody has been very supportive of the idea and very happy with it. And again, it's something that has exceeded our expectations, and again, it's our way of saying thank you for a job well done under really crazy, uncharted circumstances. So, and thank you. Thank you for that. On your desk, there's a letter from the State Department of Education and our application, which Colette Bennett, who's here tonight, helped. She actually wrote it. She had worked with teachers from West Haven High School. You may have seen it on the news. Governor Lamont announced it. It's called Teach Rock. And what it does is it incorporates music, not only into music or art classes, but also into your language arts classes, your history classes, and uses it to teach about culture and writing and whatnot. And, those districts that are fortunate enough to be part of the first round, are in for some nice things, including possibly a visit from Stephen Van Zandt, who has a foundation where this comes from, and promotes teaching of music to teach history and culture and language arts. And it really will be a nice way to incorporate all the curriculum. I don't know, Colette, if you want to say anything about it, but you really did a good job. And I know the teachers were really excited when you brought.
Merle Denninger is the English language arts coordinator. She began around, she had a interest in a couple of teachers. And then we also have an opportunity to get down on the programs that has been stayed from that and music. So those are things that we sort of capitalize on. And the grant is something that's established this year and then we continue in subsequent years. They have something called Little Stevens Virtual Classroom Tour. So that's what they're doing as. And the whole purpose is to really see the use of arts and culture to teach another subject area. And we do that already. We do the Star Wars history class. We have a sports and culture. So it's sort of capitalizing on things that we've already started. And then hopefully we can flesh out and broaden our interests with our students, make them more engaged. So.
That expand to elementary? Looks like it's all high school.
Well, it's actually, they asked for a school, and they asked, what are you currently doing? So it was easiest to go with what we had in the Star Wars and sports and culture and things, and then yes, it could move down. Because eventually, I think they hope to have every school in the state engaged.
Because Greg Ben used to teach a great class with music and taught the stages of music, and he taught keyboarding, and that was a great class that he taught.
I think that's really what they're looking to develop.
But Pat, again, the key is they don't necessarily want it done from the music department. They really want it from the English or the
They want
social
those
stuff.
people who are like our singletons who are passionate about doing something different, to really kind of have some support network so that they can develop something that really interesting to students, so that's good.
I think you might have a lot of interest at Carrigan too.
Oh, I'm sure.
The sports, is what they have, I don't know, my kids.
Well, again,
just last week.
we don't want to create classes. What we want to do is incorporate it into the classes and make those classes more interesting. So I think that's the neat
I
part about
remember
this.
the CMT song, and my kids said last week it came on the radio, the actual real song, and they said, hey, that's that song the Carrigan teachers wrote. So apparently the ACDC was stealing their work.
So we'll keep you posted. They said we're going to hear by the 7th, which is Friday. Just a couple of more things. The governor's office put out a memo to all of the alliance districts. So, and they wanted clinics done for their students. And our team, headed by Marissa, and I know Lena has gotten the word out, has worked closely with Cameron Cross from the governor's office, and we are planning a flu clinic this Friday for students at West Haven High School. Originally, you were going to have to sign up ahead of time because, again, the rules have changed. There may not be any appointments needed. However, I think the really neat part about this, and we may even be able to include Notre Dame and Sacred Heart Academy. The really neat part about this is Dr. Williams, who is our Cornell Scott Health Center, is the one, Hill Health Center, is who's going to help us do the clinic. And Dr. Meredith Williams, who's the school district's medical advisor, is from Hill Health. So tomorrow, she's going to meet with Marissa, who's going to go over questions which were submitted by Lena, and not submitted by, but sought out by Lena and Marissa regarding kids' concerns with the vaccine, and they're going to answer them. And then on Wednesday, there'll be a town hall meeting at West Haven High School via Zoom to address a lot of those concerns. So we're really hoping to get a nice turnout, and again, just help us get back to normal and do all of the events that we really want to do. So we're really excited about that. Talking to the governor's office, we were kind of pretty relentless in asking them questions and how can we do it and help us get the number of vaccines. And they said to us, you really could set the standard or set the stage for what's going on around the state. So let's hope for a big successful turnout, and on Wednesday that the kids' questions are answered. We're even, one of the methods behind their madness to offer to alliance districts is because they also want to target the families. So we would even allow families to come in and get the vaccine on Friday. So again, it'll be held right here in the cafeteria. I don't have the specific times, although I'm sure it's going to be part of the school day. That was one of the things I felt strongly about is that if you've got a captive audience and kids are going to do it, we've seen those kinds of successes in blood drives and things that we've done. We can encourage kids to come down and do it together. You are going to need some kind of permission, or your parent will have to be here. I haven't seen the questions, but according to Lena and Marissa, they were really good questions that were submitted. So we really feel like, if we can keep the kids informed, we'll get a good participation.
Do you know which vaccine you're going to be getting?
It's got to be the Pfizer. It has to be Pfizer. And we're also hearing that we may be able to, prior to the end of the school year, go down to 12 to 15-year-olds as well.
So tomorrow we will be finalizing the details. Cornell is working with me to come up with a flyer that we will put out tomorrow morning, so that will have the indicated times on it. As of right now, the website, we have a vaccine sign-up form. That way it's very accessible for parents or for the students to just go directly on our website and sign up. And then they will receive an automated message that says, if you're under 18, you will get a parent consent and someone will be in touch with you shortly. So Marissa and I really just wanted to focus on making it easy, where they don't need a PowerSchool email if they forget their password or if they don't have a Gmail account. Parents and students can sign up right on our website and we will get notification immediately to contact them.
And finally tonight, for those of you who came in through the back way off Platt Avenue or the Turks, you may have seen the ground is dug up. That was kind of an unexpected thing. What happened was they started doing the digging for the new guard shack, which is going to go in that area. And we had a tremendous amount of rain during the April vacation, so the road was dug up. We were very concerned about the condition and how soft the ground was. Ken was immediately got involved, and we worked with Gilbane and the engineers to come up with a solution. Basically, we're not going to do anything until the end of the school year because we didn't want to close the road off or make it one way. I felt, especially this time of year with the stadium in use, and you saw all the cars out here tonight. Unless we can guard that area 24/7, that really wasn't an option. But I've got Ken here because it was unexpected, to explain what happened and what's going to happen to fix it once we're done. So, Ken, sure.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Is anything changing with senior prom vaccinations with showing a 72-hour ahead of time?
Not to my knowledge, Andrea, but
Okay.
but if it has, Dave's been really good about getting the word out. So
All right, thank you.
I'll speak.
I think Bob had a couple.
Oh, you're there, you mentioned the high school. What was Bailey going to do for that?
We're still working on that, Bob. There's a couple of options. Right now, we were planning on using the auditorium. However, we're kind of going back and forth. For both Carrigan and Bailey, we're kind of still thinking do it by teams, do it during the school day, but do it outdoors. We've secured for Bailey, if we do it outdoors, the stage that we used last year for the drive-by graduation. We're thinking, again, this is if it's outdoor. If it's indoor, we got to limit it, and maybe it's only one parent because the restrictions haven't changed. If it's outdoor, it would be like by team or by cluster, depending on the school. And parents would be encouraged. It'll be a short ceremony, but they'll also be encouraged. You can bring your own lawn chair or whatnot and be able to spread out so we can, again, get back to more of a normal type of graduation. But those are still kind of in the works, I think.
I'm curious, guys, do you think there'll be any opportunity for the board to recognize our student athlete success stories? Or
what, Rob?
By separate teams or perhaps the auditorium?
The auditorium is still a problem because, again, it's why, for those of you who saw the National Honor Society got canceled, we're still limited to the number of people we can bring in. However, don't forget the rings are going to come in, and we might be able to do maybe some kind of ring ceremony outside. So we haven't heard, they're ordered when they're coming in, but I think that would be kind of a nice thing since the board said, yes, go ahead and get the kids the rings to get you involved somehow. So I think that'll be a nice thing.
Again, I'm just asking because we had another girls high school basketball member on this week as a all area girls team. I'll refer to the student representative to help me with the last name correctly. Armani?
Yes.
I don't know how to pronounce her last name. Okay. Anyway, again, we had another student athlete recognized this week's register. And obviously, years past, we've been able to acknowledge them, acknowledge championships teams. If we can get back to that, that's certainly.
I think it would be a great idea. In fact, one thing, again, I'm still attributing it with no scientific data behind me, that keeping the kids at school and being open 5 days a week gave our kids an advantage. In fact, I know Lena wrote a couple of articles for submission that we're trying to get published somewhere, but we really believe that, keeping the schools open and keeping the kids structured and in their routines, led to a lot of that. And even our spring teams are doing very well. I know baseball and softball both have winning records.
Hello, everyone. This is what happens when you build a school near a swamp. Fortunately, the new school is near a marsh, so we're okay. This road, literally, after the rain, is like a mattress. Okay, you could jump up and down, and the road would have waves. And when you took the big wing down, that water used to be directed before it was taken down to the drainage system. Now it's just open ground, so all of that water, 15,000 to 20,000 square feet of land Now we have to dig up, get rid of the clay. We've got to put down a stone. It's a pretty considerable sized job. We're also going to be taking up the sidewalk that you see with the yellow line in the picture. We're going to expand the road, and we decided to put the guard shack in the middle of the road. So we're going to have a larger road. This whole process is going to take about 6 or 7 days. In the meantime, we've got these steel plates down, which are costing us $5,000 a month to protect cars from sinking into this sinkhole. And that's what it is, okay? Once the work is done, we can pave it, the drainage will be in, we won't have this issue anymore. And unfortunately, this is a $100,000 hit to our budget. That's where we're at. We're doing very well with that.
Actually, better that it happened now than after.
That would have been a problem.
Yes.
That's a big problem.
So, I'm thankful for the 100,000 because it would have been far more costly,
Yeah.
you know, after we completed the project, so.
The $70,000 guard check that we moved at that point. So,
Exactly.
So the rings that was used to be falling on the roof of the building and diverted into the drainage
Into the
system,
sewer,
it's
you-
falling straight into the ground.
Correct. Yeah,
I just want to be sure.
it took about 48 hours for that water to get to this area. And the clay is keeping it from draining properly. And we were watching cars drive by, and the car was bouncing up and down, and you stand on it, and you walk, and you bounce up and down like a mattress. So we got the worst part covered in the 1-inch thick steel plates. And the engineer said this is a common issue with this type of soil. It's the only place in this project that we ran into this situation. And they're going to fix it, starting on 6/18.
When it rains again, this will be fixed because you're putting in the crushed stone and all?
Correct. There'll be a drainage system. We're going to collect the water, send it out to the drains. Potentially, if we get a lot of rain between now and 6/18, we could have a problem, which would require more steel plates to come in. Right now, we think we've got this thing stabilized, but it's not a guarantee.
I really just couldn't see them closing off and doing half the road at a time. This is the busiest time. I'm convinced it's the busiest time down at, not only the stadium, but for school. And, we know parking is at a premium. And I just couldn't see closing it up. I think Craig would have had trouble with the buses. But I have to tell you, Ken and Dave were very responsive and understood our concerns.
Any questions on the project at all, anybody?
When can we go for a
I love that. As soon as you want.
We should do that.
Yeah.
Good idea.
I've been giving tours on Sunday morning, if anyone's interested. I can do at the next board meeting. It's great stuff. I can bring you into the F-wing, which will be delivered to you sometime in late July. We'll have schedule.
Yeah, definitely, let's plan on doing it after the next one.
I'll set it up. That'd be great.
I know parking is at a premium, and all of those spaces that are fenced off in the front, are they ever gonna be utilized? The parking spaces and like the front of the side of the building, there's like a fence there, so you can't use those parking spaces.
No,
Is that where the bus?
That's where the buses line up parking spaces with the
That's where the
fences.
buses.
Oh, so right now, if I had the civil plan to show you, we're down about 50% of parking spaces. It's the absolute worst time. We knew coming into this phase we got that. Okay? You're going to have a significant parking lot opening up behind us here where the old auditorium is. You're going to have about 40 spaces added to the side of the rink. And you're going to have another large parking lot at the front of the school near the pool. At that point, it'll start to come into focus and you will see the fences going and additional parking. Now, the design for the very front of the school includes a large green for the buses to go around and do the drop off. That green, we just signed a change order to add power and data to. So literally, it could be functioned out on that green in the future. But you will get all your parking back, and when we do the tour at the next meeting, I'll bring with me a civil plan, and I'll answer that question, the easier answer.
And one other question, which is about the high school, failing, is that gonna be done soon?
Yeah, we're doing the coping now. We're very close to being done. It's a pretty good job. Everybody's happy. We've sent special inspectors in. Those inspectors have given us A+ on every inspection. Those guys have done a nice job. The The city hired them recently to do the barn roof as well, so they did 2 jobs in West Stadium. And I heard they were finally paid, there was a little bit of money, but not the money finally. That coping looks beautiful, we made it vertically instead of horizontally, we did all the seams, it looks a lot better than what you'd see in a modern type building. Yeah, I think they got a very small specialty crew over there, with some cleanup stuff. I think another 3 weeks away probably. Yeah, but they're very small, no big activity, no big dumpsters or anything going on anymore.
Thank you.
Parking will be on for next school year?
What was that?
The extra parking for next school year?
Yes, we're going to deliver that parking lot behind us will be open for the upcoming school.
I'd also like to add too, but the other thing that we're gonna pay close attention to is the security. The gate will be locked up during the day, we'll have the guard shack, so we'll certainly be able to contain kids and, make sure that assigned parking is assigned parking, and who's in every spot. That was difficult this year, but through nobody's fault, but it's something that we really have to keep an eye on.
Sure.
The tennis courts are up and running, we're using them. Temporary lines. They're temporary lines, temporary nets. We met with Indy, who's the company, to discuss when they'll be painted. Their recommendation was to not be painted now until later in May, if the weather is warm.
Late May, June, they're going to install the final epoxy coating. We did speak to the AD and the coaches, and they're using them fine. It's the best facility in West Haven without the permanent lines. But once that epoxy goes down, it'll be permanent. And then when tennis season is over, the nets come up, the gate gets locked, and everything's out. We have windscreens coming as well. So when you come down Platte Avenue, you're going to see the school coat of arms, if you will, on the back side of the tennis court, and there'll be large openings in the windscreens for the people to see from the city.
And I'm still investigating the potential of using that space on the other side of the tennis courts that's right now.
We already had that.
Okay.
Yeah, we hope for 2 more over there, because I guess 6 courts is the magic number for the program.
And possibly a basketball court, and running through it, we would be 3 pickleball courts, and we could also paint lines on the tennis court, so we could do an outdoor unit of pickleball, which is really popular now.
So we have some compliance to go through in the weapons over there. And zoning has given us the pass, it looks like. So that should come pretty quickly.
Yeah, just on that, that's great. Driving in tonight, will there be a guardrail or something between the seats and the road?
There's going to be a sidewalk there, there'll be a curb there. I don't know if it calls for a guardrail. If you turn the corner, you have to jump the curb and sidewalk to go to the bleachers. It might be some fencing.
I'm looking more for people coming from the car check out, the flat out, and you have that seating and some of the steps back.
No, you do plenty of them. We meet at the next meeting, you have to remind me of being out there. Sure. Yes, sir.
You said at the end of the school year, the tennis court will be locked up, is that what you said?
Yes, what we don't want to happen is these things get trashed like the last ones did. I don't know if it'll be locked up at the end of the school year, but it'll be certainly locked up at night, and that'll be monitored very closely. We don't want people in there roller skating, we don't want trash in there, and all the things that happened in the last tennis courts. So that's being monitored very carefully.
Patrick, keep in mind that, our guys do a pretty good job over at the stadium and the rink. We, previously, prior to us redoing the courts, they were taken care of by the highway park rec department, who's not there all the time. We are now going to be in charge of monitoring it and maintaining it. So I feel confident that, we'll be able to lock it up at night, just like we do the stadium. Which will keep kids out of play. I mean, we also want to.
Are you gonna permit it, or are you making it available for permits?
Let's see what, I say, let's see what the use is like first. However, I think that once we get up and running, and people see, quality tennis courts, it'll be used. What I like to go back to is when they used to have somebody there signing you in and out, saying, your hour's up, or kind of thing. You might be able to use high school kids for that.
the other side of the road too will impact that, because with the basketball court there, so you see that.
Yeah, I'm sure there are teachers or staff members that, want to utilize that after hours or in vacation.
Lot of opportunities. Anything else, Nick? Very nice, thank you.
I have just one more thing, and I should have neglected to mention it. I just want to congratulate all those on the board agenda who are retiring tonight. Many of whom I started with and came up with, they hit 35. I'm staying on, I'm about to punish me, but a lot of really good people were going to be missed and put a lot of extra hours and gone above and beyond for the kids in West Haven. So congratulations to anyone who retired on the list. I'm sure there'll be a few more, but there are several who I've worked with very closely over the years.
On that note, I also was remiss at the beginning of the meeting. I wanted to ask for a moment of silence for Mrs. Pauline Burke, who recently passed away. She was a Spanish teacher for 40 years here in the school system, and I just wanted to ask for a moment of silence. And our condolences to her family, friends, and coworkers, who I'm sure will miss her very much. On a personal note, I saw a couple of names on the retirement list that had affected me personally and my children, especially Margie Barr, who will be terribly missed by the theater workshop, and the play-going public here in West Haven for all her fabulous work over the past, I think it's 32 years in the school system. We wish all the retired teachers well. I'll try to speak on behalf of the board, and we have other personal notes, personal comments on certain teachers. But we wish them all well and thank them for all their service to the citizens and students in West Haven. And before I go to student reps, I just wanted to add one other thing, that it is Teacher Appreciation Week, and I wanted to express on behalf of the board and myself how much we appreciate the teachers and staff at all the schools in West Haven. I put a little notice out today to the West Haven parents Facebook page, asking if anyone wanted to recognize one of the teachers or staff members in the district, to please email their administrator or principal and let them know. It's a quick, free, easy way. And as a nurse, I know I'm always happy when somebody emails my boss and says they had a great interaction with me. I thought you all might appreciate that as well. I gave them my email address in case they work for who the administrator wants to contact them. I'll make sure to forward those along to the appropriate supervisory positions for those teachers and staff. And just thank you for everything you do. It's been an unprecedented and unbelievably stressful, hard year, academically, socially, physically, and mentally, and we appreciate you.
All right, so first, I would just like to start off with just some feedback on our 5-period schedule. Today was our first day going back to the 5 periods. We had pretty much some good feedback. The one complaint that we did have was just that some teachers didn't realize how the periods were shortened, but I think it's just a little adjustment. And I think honestly, everybody's feeling a little bit better. 5 periods does kind of feel a little bit back towards normal. Our second minor complaint, which we're fixing right now, is just some allergy concerns with snacks and the lunch provided after school. This Libra and I are working with Ms. Kingston about trying to find options that are milk-free, gluten-free, and things like peanut-free, other allergies that might affect some of our students. This past week, we had Wellness Week, and one of our board of ed members, Navia Khan, was one of the front runners for Wellness Week. We had some great seminars in the past week. Every day was a different day that we focused on. Teachers were sent out emails that they were able to share to their students about ways that they could come and contact different members of our school about their wellness and their mental health. We would also like to look in the future to incorporate Wellness Week at our other schools, elementary, middle school, intermediate, and possibly make this an annual week throughout May every year. Next, we would like to just recognize our teacher appreciation week, which is this week. And our administration has some things planned. We as students also have some fun things planned. I know we're doing a little volleyball, other things that I won't give away and ruin the surprise. We would like to just let you know about some upcoming events. So our first one is our band performance, which is May 24th. And then our National Honor Society,
Is that a time?
yes, it is outside of the field. Our National Honor Society ceremony was not actually canceled. It was postponed to June 8th. That is also the day of senior awards. However, senior awards will be outside in the evening, and the National Honor Society meeting will be outside during the day. Not yet, but I believe it will be sometime in the morning during the school day. Speaking on the graduation ceremony, I know we have kind of mixed feedback with both. I think the one thing that students are a little bit upset about is just the lack of tickets that were given this year. But we do appreciate being able to have a normal graduation this year, and the closest thing to normal. We do ask that if there's any way that we can get more tickets, that we can try and strive for that. Next, I'd like to let you know a little bit about our health status at the high school. So this week we have our vaccine clinic, which is this Friday. I know a lot of students are really excited because they had trouble getting vaccine appointments, and it's nice to just be able to come here. I know my brother is getting his, so he's very excited. So a lot of students are excited to finally take some steps for vaccine. Second, we've had over the past few weeks a dental truck come for students. It comes once a week with full dental services free, which means you're not just going for a screening, you can get checkups, minor procedures, things like that. And I know a lot of students, several in fact, it was their first time ever visiting the dentist, so we're very excited to give the students the opportunity to get some free dental hygiene. Second thing, another thing we were just a little bit worried about, however, we should have a little covered it was getting the street fixed, because I do know a few people who did get stuck in that sinkhole. It was an entertaining time, but we would like to not have to deal with that again.
Like other forms of entertainment.
Yes. But we are happy with the still plays in there. It has been working out pretty smoothly. We're excited to get that fixed in August. One thing I know, Ms. Thompson.
Should be done in June. They're going to do the school ends.
Even better. One thing I know Mrs. Holman asked was about prom questions. I do have any. I am helping run prom this year, so please let me know. I know it's still, you can either bring your full vaccination card the day of prom or 72 hours before show up with a negative COVID test.
Still one day or two.
One day for the prom this year. It will be May 21st.
I don't think they didn't get the turnout to do the second one.
Yeah, so just one, May 21st from 6 to 11 at Philadelphia and Seymour. And then our last date is May 14th, is College Decision Day run by our guidance counselors. It will be a virtual event, but I will let you know if there's anything that the board item we should participate in. Is there any questions?
Well, congratulations on your committee to University of Tampa.
I'm excited to be
We can go, I think we do a field trip.
I definitely think that should become under the board business visiting when we can't do next year.
All right, that's all I have, so thank you.
Thanks, Mac.
Anything from the board? I'll start now with Jim. Thanks. I went to the hockey banquet last night, which was very nice. And Aaron Blake always gives a Tinker Blake Award, and this year's they did the Pam Gardner Award, which Mackenzie got. And so they'll be side by side, which I think is appropriate for two real Westies. And was very excited. It was very nice event, and I'm happy to be invited. So thank you for inviting me.
Thanks to the chairman for sending the letter to Education Secretary Cordova. It was a wise choice on behalf of the board.
Hopefully he remembers us.
Thank you.
Andre?
I am, thank you. Rose?
The two, I already said my spiel. On behalf of all of us. On behalf of everyone, and I'm glad everyone agreed with me that it was contradictory. Thanks, guys. I'm used to speaking on behalf of my husband all the time, so I can't step on any list. Speaking on behalf. Next we have D1A, approval of minutes. I'll have a entertain motion.
Motion.
Bob, second. Second. Rosa, any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Oh, and Pat abstained. Motion passes. The two resignations. We have quite a list. Just because I feel like there's so many, I want to read all their names off. Just to honor the years of service that they've given to us and to make sure that we thank them appropriately. D2 21-11, Tawana Sheridan, principal at Washington Elementary School. 12-12, Linda Carlson, fifth grade teacher at Carrigan Intermediate School. 12-13, Alice Herman, family and computer science teachers at Westgate High School. 21-14, Modestine Vaughn at physical education at Carrigan Intermediate School. 12-15, Lynn Bonaldo, math facilitator at Carrigan. 21-16, Margie Marr, director of Westgate High School Field Workshop in Westgate High School. 21-17, Carol J. Phillips of the Special Education Department. That is a lot of years of service to this district, and we cannot be happier that these folks chose to spend their working years with us, and hope that they have an amazing and fabulous retirement, and I'm incredibly jealous. D3, we have a motion to accept the retirements. I'm sorry, I got all carried away. I made a motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Wish them all well.
Thank you very much.
Just wishing them well.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? I'm actually opposed, but. All right, motion passes. I will entertain a motion for the B3 21-18, Judith Dresnick, assistant superintendent. Motion by Ann, second.
Second.
By Rosa. Any discussion?
Okay, just some discussion.
Sure.
My concerns with the process and not the person.
Sure.
The Board of Ed, some members have told the chair they would like to see the job description of Dr. D retired. We never provided the opportunity or the possibility of updating. Position of second in charge of the school district, along with the second highest salary in the state, should have been posted. We're being asked to hire without seeing a contract or a term of employment for 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. And then just, I know it's a salary being negotiated, but we based on a budget that already presented to the city council here tomorrow, I think we have little room to negotiate the contract. Again, it's strictly on process, not on person.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, I'll entertain a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Close.
Any abstentions? All right, thanks. Motion passes. Congratulations, students.
Congratulations.
D4, new business, 21-19, the adult educational grant expansion of NEDP for 21 through 23. Motion to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Bob, thanks, Rosa. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. And the rest of the agenda is informational, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second, all in favor? We are back.